As mentioned in the reverse dieting video, there will be a point of where your body weight will come back up after the diet. It has to. It's very, very unlikely that the end stage of your diet will be the body weight that you hold. In the diet, you're completely depleted of majority of carbohydrates, sodium, potassium, water. All of these things are in a dieted state. And that's different to a lifestyle state. So there will be a point that you need to go through where your body weight will be, let's say, for example, you finish your diet on 60 kilos. You're more than likely going to be hovering around the 60 to 63 kilo mark as you reverse diet and as you move into your lifestyle phase. That's okay. That doesn't mean that you've gained lots of body fat. It just means that the scale has come up from a dieted state. And everyone tries to, and that's why the yo-yo dieters fail. That's why people in keto fail, because when they see the scale going up, they freak out. But the reality is you need to get really comfortable with seeing those fluctuations in the scale, because you can't go in swings and roundabouts of just thinking, oh, my scale weight's gone up, fuck it, or I need to diet back down, or I need to yo-yo diet, or if the scale weight's gone up, I need to, cut out all my calories, or fuck it, it doesn't matter. We need to have a position of where you're comfortable with your body weight coming up, and that is super, super natural. I finished my diet on 63 kilos. 2 to 3 weeks later, I was 65 kilos, and that was through reverse dieting the right way, and I held the same amount of leanness, but just at 65 instead of 63 because of the carbohydrates I was eating, because of the water I was hydrating with. It just changes the scale weight or the relationship between you and the floor, and that's okay. Over time, when you're in that lifestyle mode, the people that fail are the ones that say, I want to stay at X weight. It never happens. The body will fluctuate not to mention the scale weight is something that is not really a true representation of the way that you look. But if you try and stay at one point in the whole of the year, it will always fluctuate. At Christmas, people put on a few kilos. During the summer, people trim back a little bit. But the reality is that if you're aiming for one specific body weight and you get fluctuations on a day-to-day basis, you're going to have a mindset of where it's my self-worth is wrapped up into that scale weight, and therefore everything I do is goal orientated to moving that scale weight either down or up depending on when you step on it. That's not going to be great. It's not a way to live your life. It's not the way to spend the next 20, 30 years saying that, I'm great today because my scale weight is X, or this is crap because my scale weight is X. The goal to get rid of this mindset is actually to have a weight range that you utilize on a month to month, year to year basis. Stick a weight range on it where you stay between, and you know that you feel great there. So as you're dieting down, as you move from like 80 kilos down to 65, you'll find a sweet spot on where you're like, okay, well, I look good here, but I'd like a little bit more off, or I've got down to here, it's a bit too much. And you'll find a weight range. For me, if I want to live my life on a day-to-day basis, prioritizing my health, relationships, family, training performance, I will stay between 63 and around about 69. That's quite a big weight range, but I'm not too fussed about the way that I look with my top off all of the year round. Of course, for holidays, you get down to that 63 or lower, but then for times when you're not too worried about the visuals, and you're worried about your training performance, and you're worried about eating more calories socially, then you can move up those weight range. For some people, when you come out of that diet, that weight range might be super small, 1 to 2 kilos. But what we tend to see is that over the year, over the 18 months, 24 months, your weight range gets bigger because you realize that your self-worth isn't wrapped up in your physical being. Sure, it's great to be in shape. It's good to be in a lean state or where you want to be, but there'll be trade-offs to be there too. And you have to find those trade-offs that you're willing to have. Like, I'm not willing to go below 63 year round because I'm super hungry all the time. My training is crap because I've got no energy. I look amazing, but I can't use it, and I'm always thinking about food, and I'm hungry, and I'm a miserable person to be around when I hit that 63 or below, which isn't great for the rest of your life. It's great for if you want to go and do a holiday and you get in amazing shape, but for me to function as a human being and be the best version of myself in all of my circles, not just how I visually look, I need to be between 63 and 70 kilos because I get so much more energy from being there. I'm not food focused. I don't look at food as like the next, what am I eating next? Hunger goes completely. I get to enjoy food because I have more calories than you would do if you're on the low 60s. And all of these things all line up to being a better thing for me. And it's the same as everyone that I've ever worked with that gets into that later autonomy phase, is that they have a weight range to work from. So finding that weight range for you, being comfortable with the weight increasing and finding that number. Yeah, I'd recommend starting with about a 2 to 4 kilo weight range and getting comfortable there. If you go too high, you can see what happens at that top of the weight range. If you're not moving anywhere and you're still feeling like crap or death or hungry all of the time, you can shift that weight range up and see what you're like. Because the physical or the way that you look isn't everything. It's just one pillar of what we do. So we need to consider that when we're looking at all the other pillars and how that really implements and affects the rest of our life.